I want to tell you about the moment everything changed in my brooder. I had been raising chicks the same way most small-scale poultry keepers do. Quality starter feed, clean water, proper temperature, good bedding, the basics. And the basics worked. The chicks grew, they feathered out, they made it to the grower stage without significant losses. By every standard measure of backyard chick raising, things were fine. But fine is not the same as thriving. And when I started paying closer attention, really watching the chicks daily, tracking feather development, monitoring weight gain week by week, I realized that fine was masking a significant gap between what my chicks were producing and what they were capable of producing. The change I made was small, 1 drop per liter of water in the drinker. Within the first week, I noticed the difference. By week 2, it was undeniable. Feather development was faster and more complete. Activity levels were higher. Feed conversion, the amount of feed required to produce a gram of growth, visibly improved. And by the time those chicks reached the grower stage, they were measurably ahead of every previous batch I had raised under identical conditions. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what I added, why it works at a biological level, how to use it correctly, and what the research says about why this simple intervention produces results that experienced poultry keepers consistently report but rarely explain in detail. Welcome to Herd to Harvest. Let us get into it.
What it is. The supplement is apple cider vinegar, raw, unfiltered with the mother. And before you click away thinking you already know this one, stay with me, because most of the apple cider vinegar content in the poultry space covers the surface without explaining the mechanism. And the mechanism is what makes the difference between using it correctly and using it as an expensive placebo. Raw apple cider vinegar, specifically the unfiltered variety containing the mother, the cloudy, strand-like culture of beneficial bacteria and enzymes that forms during fermentation, is not the same product as the clear filtered apple cider vinegar on the cooking shelf. The filtered product has had the biologically active components removed. The raw, unfiltered product with the mother intact contains acetic acid, malic acid, citric acid, lactic acid, beneficial lactobacillus and acetobacter bacteria, enzymes including proteases and lipases, and a range of vitamins and minerals including B vitamins, potassium, and trace minerals. Each of these components has a specific and documented role in chick development. Understanding what each one does is what transforms apple cider vinegar into a precision tool. The mechanism, why it works. The first and most significant mechanism is gut pH modification. The digestive system of a newly hatched chick is not fully developed at hatch. The gut microbiome, the community of beneficial bacteria that drives digestion, nutrient absorption, and immune function, takes time to establish. In the first 2 to 3 weeks of life, the chick's gut is vulnerable to colonization by pathogenic bacteria, including Salmonella, E. coli, and Clostridium, which thrive in a neutral to slightly alkaline gut environment. Acetic acid, the primary active compound in apple cider vinegar, lowers the pH of the drinking water and consequently the pH of the chick's crop and upper digestive tract. This mild acidification creates an environment that is hostile to pathogenic bacteria while supporting the growth of beneficial lactobacillus species that form the foundation of a healthy gut microbiome. Studies in commercial poultry have consistently found that acidified drinking water in the first weeks of life reduces pathogen colonization of the gut, improves feed conversion, and reduces early mortality from bacterial gut infections. The second mechanism is enzyme activation. The enzymes that break down feed proteins, fats, and carbohydrates into absorbable nutrients are pH sensitive. They function optimally in a mildly acidic environment. In a chick with an immature digestive system and a not yet acidified gut, these enzymes are operating below their optimal pH range, meaning that a portion of the nutritional value of the feed passes through without being absorbed. Acidification of the drinking water moves the gut environment closer to the pH optimum for these enzymes, improving the efficiency of nutrient extraction from the same quantity of feed consumed. This is why the feed conversion improvement is visible so early. The chick is simply getting more from each gram of feed consumed.
The third mechanism is the direct contribution of the mother culture. The live lactobacillus bacteria in raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother are probiotic organisms that colonize the gut and compete directly with pathogens for attachment sites on the intestinal wall. Early colonization of the chick gut with beneficial bacteria is the single most important factor in establishing a healthy, resilient gut microbiome, and providing those bacteria through the drinking water in the first days of life is the most direct and practical way to accelerate that colonization. The fourth mechanism is mineral and enzyme availability from the malic acid content. Malic acid chelates minerals. It binds to calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals and makes them more bioavailable for absorption. In a chick undergoing rapid skeletal development, improved mineral bioavailability from the drinking water directly supports bone formation and feathering, which is why faster and more complete feathering is one of the most consistently reported observations from poultry keepers who use apple cider vinegar correctly. The evidence. The anecdotal evidence from small-scale poultry keepers is extensive and consistent, but the research literature supports it at a level that goes beyond farmer observation. A study published in the International Journal of Poultry Science found that broiler chicks given acidified water containing acetic acid at 1% concentration showed significantly improved weight gain, feed conversion ratio, and gut morphology. Specifically, increased villus height in the small intestine, which is a direct structural marker of improved nutrient absorption capacity, compared to control birds on plain water. A 2014 study in the Pakistan Veterinary Journal found that apple cider vinegar supplementation at 2 milliliters per liter of drinking water produced a 12% improvement in body weight gain and a 9% improvement in feed conversion ratio in broiler chicks over a 4-week period compared to unsupplemented controls. The researchers attributed these improvements to the combined effects of gut pH reduction, improved digestive enzyme activity, and competitive exclusion of pathogenic bacteria by beneficial acid-tolerant microorganisms. Research on lactobacillus colonization in early chick life finds that the window between hatch and day 7 is the most critical period for gut microbiome establishment. Early colonization with beneficial bacteria during this window has effects that persist through the bird's entire productive life. Providing a source of live lactobacillus through the drinking water during this window is the most practical and lowest-cost microbiome management intervention available to the small-scale poultry keeper. How to use it correctly. The dose that appears most consistently in both the research literature and in the practical experience of experienced poultry keepers is 1 to 2 milliliters of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother per liter of drinking water. This translates to approximately 20 drops per liter, which is where the title's 1 drop comes from as the minimum effective signal, though in practice 1 to 2 milliliters per liter is the functional dose. Start on day 1. The gut microbiome establishment window begins at hatch, and the earlier beneficial bacteria colonize the gut, the better. Add the apple cider vinegar to fresh water in the drinker every time you refill it. Do not add it to water that has been sitting, as the acidity accelerates bacterial growth in standing water in ways that can work against you. Use only raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother, the cloudy, slightly viscous product, not the clear filtered cooking variety. The Bragg brand is the most widely available and consistently reliable option. Generic raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar from health food stores works equally well. The key markers are the word raw, the word unfiltered, and visible cloudiness or strands in the bottle indicating the presence of the mother culture. Do not use metal drinkers with apple cider vinegar. The acidity corrodes metal over time and can leach metal ions into the water. Plastic or ceramic drinkers are the correct choice for acidified water supplementation. The supplementation schedule that produces the best results is continuous use through the first 8 weeks of life, the entire brooding and early grower period, followed by 2 to 3 times per week maintenance use through the laying or finishing period. Some keepers use it continuously year-round. There is no documented harm from continuous use at the doses described, and the gut health benefits appear to compound over time rather than diminishing with sustained use. What to expect and when? The timeline of observable changes when apple cider vinegar is introduced to chick drinking water follows a consistent pattern that experienced keepers report repeatedly. Days 1 through 3, no visible change. The biological effects are occurring at a microscopic level in the gut environment, not yet reflected in visible growth or behavior differences. Days 4 through 7, increased activity and alertness. Chicks on acidified water typically show more active foraging behavior, more consistent feed consumption, and slightly brighter, more alert demeanor than controls. This reflects improved gut function and better nutrient absorption, beginning to translate into available energy. Week 2, feather development difference becomes visible. Chicks with a well-established acidified gut microbiome feather out faster and more completely than those without. The mineral bioavailability improvement from malic acid is visible in feather quality. Tighter, more complete feathering with less down retention at the same age. Week 3 onward, weight differential becomes measurable. By week 3, chicks on the apple cider vinegar protocol consistently weigh more than age-matched controls on identical feed, reflecting the cumulative effect of improved feed conversion over the preceding weeks. This differential typically increases through the remainder of the grow-out period as the gut microbiome advantage compounds. Combining it with other interventions. Apple cider vinegar works best as part of a broader gut health approach rather than as a standalone intervention. The 3 complementary practices that produce the most significant combined effect are fermented feed, garlic water, and probiotic supplementation through the feed. Fermented feed, chick starters soaked in water for 48 to 72 hours to allow lactic acid fermentation, provides the same gut pH modification and probiotic colonization benefits through the feed rather than the water, doubling the exposure to beneficial bacteria and organic acids. Chicks eat fermented feed with notable enthusiasm, and the digestibility improvement from fermentation compounds the water acidification effect significantly. Garlic added to drinking water at 1 clove per liter, crushed and steeped for several hours, provides allicin, a potent natural antimicrobial that specifically inhibits pathogenic bacteria without disrupting beneficial lactobacillus populations. The combination of apple cider vinegar's acidification and probiotic effect with garlic's specific antimicrobial activity addresses gut health through complementary rather than redundant mechanisms. Raw apple cider vinegar in the water, fermented feed in the feeder, and a garlic steep twice weekly. These 3 interventions together represent a complete, evidence-supported, zero-pharmaceutical gut health protocol for chick rearing that costs almost nothing beyond the time investment and produces results that experienced small-scale poultry keepers describe consistently as transformative. One change. 1 drop per liter, or more precisely 1 to 2 milliliters per liter of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother in the drinking water from day 1. The mechanism is real, the research supports it, and the practical results reported by poultry keepers across every scale of operation, from backyard brooder to small commercial operation, are consistent enough that this is no longer folk wisdom. It is evidence-based poultry management available to anyone willing to spend a few dollars on a bottle of the right product and apply it correctly. The chicks that start with a well-acidified gut, a healthy early microbiome, and optimal digestive enzyme activity do not just grow faster in the first 8 weeks. They establish a gut health foundation that supports better immunity, better feed conversion, and better productive performance through their entire lives. The investment is made in the first days. The return compounds indefinitely. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you already using apple cider vinegar in your brooder? Have you tried fermented feed or garlic water alongside it? Drop your experience in the comments. The most useful knowledge in this community comes from people who are raising birds and seeing results firsthand. If this breakdown gave you something practical to apply today, subscribe to Herd to Harvest. We're here every week with evidence-based practical content for small-scale livestock keepers who want their animals performing at their genuine potential. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next episode, where we are covering the 5 brooder mistakes that silently cost you growth and how to fix every one of them. Now go get your apple cider vinegar. Your chicks will thank you for it.